Hey everyone, let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're unpacking the really fascinating science behind how we perceive pain, and more importantly, how a pretty incredible new innovation applies those exact scientific principles straight to our central nervous system. We aren't just talking about your average everyday massage here. No, we are diving deep into the intersection of neurobiology and mechanical engineering. It's going to be a fun one.
To kick things off, I want you to think about something we've literally all experienced. You know when you stub your toe or bump your elbow, and your immediate knee-jerk reaction is to grab it and rub the area? And somehow, it actually makes it feel a little better. Why is that? Well, as we'll see, this simple, totally instinctive act actually holds the key to some incredibly complex neurological science.
So here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll cover the gate theory of pain, then look at vibration in the nervous system. After that, we'll introduce spinal percussion therapy, dive into the 3D energy gun innovation, and finally, wrap up with mastering the application.
All right, let's get into part one, the gate theory of pain.
Okay, so before pain is ever actually perceived up in your conscious brain, the signal has to travel to your spinal cord first. And according to the gate control theory of pain, it doesn't just get a free pass. It must go through specific neurological checkpoints located in the dorsal horn of the spinal cord. You can think of these checkpoints as literal gates. They modulate the signals, meaning they can either block the pain info or let it pass right through to the higher processing centers in your brain. Basically, if the gate is closed, you don't feel the pain. Simple as that.
Now, looking at the classic Metzak wall diagram, we can actually map out these sensory pathways. You've got small nerve fibers, which are labeled with an S here, and large nerve fibers labeled with an L. Pain signals usually take the small fibers. But other sensory inputs, things like movement or vibration, those travel along the large, fast fibers. So when you activate those large fibers by rubbing that bumped elbow we talked about, that sensory input essentially speeds ahead and closes the gate, literally blocking the smaller pain fibers from sending their unpleasant message up to the brain.
Is exactly like a sturdy farm gate keeping livestock contained. Our neurological pain gates keep those unwanted pain signals from flooding into our conscious perception, and the right sensory inputs, like targeted continuous vibration, can shut that gate firmly, giving us much more than just a fleeting moment of relief.
Which brings us to Section 2, vibration and the nervous system.
So is this just a neat theory? Not at all. Let's look at some rigorous clinical data. Researchers applied low-magnitude, variable-frequency vibration to adults with moderate knee osteoarthritis, and the results were amazing. These patients didn't just feel better while it was happening. They experienced reduced pain and improved mobility that actually lasted for up to 4 whole weeks. And it gets even more incredible. In patients suffering from post-stroke hemiplegia, which is a really severe condition, applying a localized 100 Hz vibration caused a statistically significant drop in upper limb spasticity. And that improvement stuck around for at least 48 hours after the therapy.
Now here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. We are not just talking about the peripheral nervous system here. This isn't a surface-level muscle massage that feels nice for 5 minutes and then fades. Because stroke spasticity is fundamentally an issue with the central nervous system, the fact that vibration can significantly reduce it is a massive deal. It proves that these mechanical waves are actually inducing what's called a tonic vibration reflex via spinal circuits. It's actively influencing the overarching central nervous system.
When you apply focal vibration, it physically stretches muscle fibers by creating these traveling mechanical waves. And because we see such profound impacts on stroke patients, it absolutely confirms that this therapy propagates all the way into those deep neural pathways, that glowing red central nervous system you're seeing. It's a completely non-pharmacological way to actually modulate central neurological dysfunction. It's really powerful stuff.
All right, moving right along to Section 3, introducing spinal percussion therapy.
To really understand how spinal percussion therapy works, we have to talk about an amazing concept called mechanotransduction. Simply put, this is the mechanism where our body cells literally take a physical, mechanical stimulus, like a highly specific percussive tap, and convert it into electrochemical neurological activity. So by finding specific spinal levels that are experiencing biomechanical dysfunction, which chiropractors often call a subluxation, practitioners can apply percussive therapy directly to that specific vertebral segment. This sends a massive, highly targeted signal right into those dorsal horns we mentioned earlier, which kicks off a healing neuroplastic response.
Next up, Section 4, the 3D energy gun innovation.
Building on all that incredible science, we have the 3D energy gun.
Now, this was co-developed specifically to bridge the massive gap between a typical commercial massage gun you'd use for soft tissue and a true clinical instrument designed to correct vertebral subluxation. It might look a little similar on the outside, but trust me, the engineering on the inside is an entirely different beast.
This tool is highly specialized. For starters, the tip composition was modified so it can safely make direct, firm contacts right onto cranial bones, vertebral spinous processes, and pelvic margins. But the real game changer here is the rotating head component. It actually allows the practitioner to apply specific rotational torque, either clockwise or anti-clockwise, while simultaneously delivering percussive impulses at totally variable speeds. This means they can finally address the really complex three-dimensional nature of a spinal dysfunction, which completely elevates this tool light years beyond a standard massage device.
And finally, Section 5, Mastering the Application.
As you might guess, true competency with the 3D energy gun doesn't happen overnight. Practitioners have to put in the work. First, they thoroughly study the scientific white papers. They need to deeply understand that mechanotransduction model we talked about. In step 3 is my absolute favorite. They actually have to apply the therapy to their own upper cervical spine first. You have to experience it and master it on yourself before you ever lay hands on a patient. From there, it's all about practicing on volunteers and putting in the hours to build genuine clinical proficiency. Look, we've all been there when trying to learn a complex new skill, right? Honestly, it can feel a bit like absolute chaos at first. Adapting to any intense new technology requires a ton of patience. It is perfectly normal to feel a little stressed when you're first trying to figure out the exact vectors, torque settings, and impulse speeds. The developers are super upfront about this. Practitioners absolutely must be patient and dedicated if they want to fully unlock the amazing new therapeutic possibilities this tool offers.
And to ensure total safety and precision, there are strict operational rules. These are the crucial don'ts of spinal percussion therapy. First, practitioners must never make physical contact before the gun is actually running. You never change speeds while pressed against the spine. You absolutely must never drive the gun in with your own physical body weight. You have to let the machine do the mechanical work. You avoid overstimulating a single point, and obviously, you never ever ignore medical contraindications. Following this strict protocol is what establishes the high level of clinical credibility this therapy demands.
Well, we've covered a ton of ground today, all the way from the biological gates hidden in our spinal cords to the high-tech engineering of percussive torque. But I want to leave you with one final thought. If applying precise mechanical energy can literally be translated by our own cells to close neurological pain gates and reduce central spasticity, how might this evolving technology completely reshape the entire future of chronic rehabilitation? It is an absolutely incredible intersection of science and engineering, and it promises to keep opening new doors or, selectively closing the right gates in the years to come. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and keep exploring.